Okay, hey you guys, this is Jaden here, and okay, so you guys remember how I've been sharing my opinion on Shrek Forever After on this channel? I've been talking about it, saying that I have mixed thoughts on it and all that stuff, saying that, while I don't think it's a terrible movie, I don't think that's a movie that needed to exist either, and, about me talking about, like, whether I'd want to go back and rewatch it or not. Well, about that, guys, just so y'all know. Okay, I thought about whether I would want to go back and rewatch Shrek Forever After for a while now. I don't know. I don't know specifically or exactly how long, but it's been going on for a while now. Like, at least over a year. At least since like early. At least since like early or mid 2000, like maybe like around mid 2021, like maybe around mid last year. And yeah, I've been thinking about whether I'd want to go back and rewatch it or not. It's been hard for me to decide. Like, let me describe it like this. Like on one shoulder, like yeah, like how in those cartoons when when there's a person thinking about something and on one shoulder there's the angel and then on the other there's a devil, and they have opposite opinions and all that. Yeah, that's what I like to describe it as because I really do like that gag in cartoons with the angel and the devil on the shoulders. Yeah, I like to describe it like this. Like on one shoulder there's the angel telling me, Jaden, go back and rewatch Shrek Forever After. It's a good film. It's a really good film. You come on. You love Shrek. This film can't disappoint you. It can't be that bad. It's Shrek. You love Shrek. Come on, Jaden, go back and rewatch it. But then on the other shoulder, there's the devil telling me, oh, no, Jaden, don't go back and rewatch Shrek Forever After. It didn't need to exist, just like how Toy Story 4 and Finding Dory didn't need to exist. Don't go back and rewatch Shrek Forever After. Don't go back and rewatch that trash. Just stick with the first three movies. You just need the first three movies. Don't go back and rewatch Shrek Forever After. Yeah, it's like that. Again, I have mixed feelings about the movie. But tonight, I decided to get my DVD player out, plug it into my TV, get a DVD out, put it in get that Shrek box set I've been telling you guys about out. Get the Shrek Forever After DVD, put it in the DVD player. And I finally went back and rewatched Shrek Forever After. Not just like clips of it or anything like that. No, the whole way through. I'm talking about the whole way through, up until the end credits. Up until the end credits. I turned off the DVD player like maybe a few seconds into the end credits. And yeah, I finally went back and rewatched it the whole way through after not doing so, even like after I saw it saw the movie the whole way through, like over a decade ago. I mean, yeah, there were certain parts of the movie that I went back to rewatch, like the scene where Shrek ruins the birthday party and the ending and all that stuff. And I've seen some spoofs of Shrek Forever After, of course, and I've seen a few people on YouTube who have spoofed all four Shrek movies. But yeah, I didn't ever really rewatched it the whole way through. Like I've never really rewatched the movie the whole way through, up until tonight. And now that if I remember correctly, now that I rewatched the movie the whole way through, what do I think of it? Well, I still don't think it's terrible. I no longer have mixed thoughts on it. No, those mixed thoughts are gone. So yeah, what do I think about the movie? Well, again, it's still not terrible, and it ain't half bad either. But yeah, I don't think it's too worthy of rewatching the whole way through again. Not that it's a bad film though. It was okay. It was okay. It was cool. It was cool. It had an interesting concept. It had an interesting plot. It had great animation, but and yeah, it was a nice rewatch. But is it worthy of rewatching the whole way through again? Like I think the other three movies in the franchise are. No, not really. It was an okay movie. I mean, like, it wasn't bad. It wasn't terrible or anything like that. I mean, yeah, it did feel pretty long. Like, out of the four Shrek movies, it's definitely the one that feels the longest. Like, I remember the first time we saw the film, my family saw the film, we rented it on DVD. Like, I'm pretty sure way back in 2010 when the movie was released on DVD, we saw it. Yeah, we weren't really that big of fans of it. Yeah, my brother Jacob said it was boring. He said it was boring. Probably my whole family thought it was boring. So yeah, that's why we didn't go back to that one as nearly as much as we have with the other three movies. Especially the first one, because the first Shrek movie is the one we've had on DVD the longest. And while we do now have that nice box set, we still have that old DVD that we've had of Shrek 1 for years. And yeah. And yeah, to be honest with you guys, I kept on going back and forth with this film over time. Like, I think I started out thinking that it wasn't that great, but then I started thinking it was good, but then, I kept going back, and I went back and forth with this film. Like, definitely out of all the Shrek movies, this is definitely the one I've went back and forth with the most. And yeah, for a while now, like I said, for a while now, I've had mixed thoughts about this film, and debated on whether I want to rewatch it or not. And now I finally rewatched it, and like it was okay. Again, it was okay. It was an okay movie with some really good moments in it. Like the really good moments specifically, I love Butterpants. The Do the Roar kid. The Do the Roar kid is awesome, and he's so fun to imitate. Do the roar. The Do the Roar kid's awesome. Butterpants is awesome, and I also really like I also love the ending. The ending is awesome. The ending is awesome. I think it's an okay movie with a great ending. Kind of like how I feel with Naruto Shippuden, the movie The Lost Tower. It's a great... Yeah, the ending is great. With spoilers, Shrek dying and then, things turn back to normal and he's happy with his family. That's a really nice and heartfelt ending. And I think it's the most emotional moment in the entire Shrek franchise. And, yeah. And what else do I like about this film that I did? Well, I like how it expanded the lore of the Shrek universe more with all these ogres by introducing us to all these ogres like Brogan and Gretchen and Cookie. Yeah, they're interesting characters, and Rumpelstiltskin's a pretty funny villain. Yeah, he has all these wigs. He has all these wigs showing for different personalities and all that. Yeah, he's a pretty funny villain. Like he's not as good as villains like Lord Farquaad or Fairy Godmother from previous Shrek movies, but I still think he's a really good villain. I still think he works well. But yeah, like, what are the negatives about the film? Well, I don't really have too many negatives about the film, despite the fact that I just think it's okay. Like, not really too... Well, maybe it could have been paced better. Like, I don't really know. I don't really have that many negatives with the film, even though I just think it's okay and still not at the level of the first 3 Shrek movies. I don't know, maybe it could have been paced a little bit better. Maybe it could have been paced a little bit better because, I did feel like the movie was dragging out a little bit. And, yeah, like I said, when we first watched the movie, it was, like, boring the heck out of my older brother, Jacob. And I remember my dad saying it was pretty boring. Yeah, it could have been paced a little bit better. And, yeah, if you guys want to know, no, I do not mind the fact that Shrek went to a total jerk in the movie. Shrek became a total jerk in the movie. I mean, I've seen some people on YouTube complain about how Shrek's a jerk in the movie. Yeah, and I get that, but it's like, come on, isn't Shrek a jerk in every Shrek movie? Think about it. He's a jerk in every Shrek movie. And Shrek 1, he goes from being a grumpy, mean ogre scaring the heck out of people and stuff to being a nice ogre and getting married to Fiona and all that stuff. And in Shrek 2, yes, while he still continues to be married with Fiona and doesn't go divorcing her or anything like that, he still became a total jerk to her. But then, again, he later grows nicer later in the film. And with Shrek the Third, he wasn't, okay, might have not been as much of a jerk there, but he still acted like a jerk at certain parts. But then he became nicer later in the movie. Like, isn't he a jerk in every Shrek movie? So apparently Shrek being a jerk in the other 3 Shrek movies isn't that much of a bad thing, yet it is here. I don't get it. Is it because what he does is because he doesn't say as nearly as much of hurtful things in those previous movies as what he says in the 4th movie? Yeah, and plus, not to mention, Shrek grows a lot nicer later in the movie. And, he becomes a lot nicer. He regrets everything he did. He regrets all those mean things he said. He regrets, wanting to go back to the way things used to be before he met Donkey and all that stuff. And, I don't want to be too mean to anyone in this video, but for the people I've seen who have complained about Shrek being a jerk in this film, they complain about him being a jerk in this film like he doesn't grow nicer in the end, which he does. Literally in every Shrek movie. He acts like a jerk, but then later in the movie he becomes nice. But apparently that's only a problem with the 4th movie. What? Am I missing something here? If I'm missing something, I'd like someone to tell me in the comment section or something. Because, I don't understand how this makes sense. Yeah, and plus, that mean-spirited thing. Yeah, I'm not a fan of people using that mean-spirited excuse. I hate... Like, seriously. I mean, I don't want to be too mean or biased to anyone in this video, but I hate... I'm so sick and tired of constantly seeing people use the mean-spirited excuse to criticize children's media. Like, seriously, it's so annoying. It is really annoying. Like, a lot of the time I hear it, I either get, really annoyed by it, like, it either really ticks me off, or it just really tires me out because I've seen people on YouTube and stuff use that excuse so much. And it's an excuse that I think gets overused way too much. Like seriously. And yeah, and Shrek being mean-spirited isn't even remotely close to part of why I thought the film was bad. No. I think at first I just thought it was boring. I just thought it was boring and not worth a rewatch, as a result, I didn't end up rewatching it as nearly as much as I have with the other three movies. Although there were certain parts that I went back to, like like I said, like the birthday scene at the first act of the film, and the ending scene, and there's some songs I went back to, like that awesome "I'm a Believer" cover, and that "Click Click" song that plays like during that chase scene with the witches and all that when Shrek takes Donkey out of Rumpelstiltskin's property, and they're flying with brooms and all that. But like, yeah, I never really rewatched the film the whole way through up until tonight, and now that I've rewatched it the whole way through, it's okay. It's okay. It's not a great film, but it's a good one. It's a good one. It's not too disappointing. Well, okay, maybe it is disappointing for Shrek standards, looking at how much I love Shrek. I grew up with the movies, and I'm a big Shrek fan. I love Shrek. Shrek is awesome. And yeah, but this movie, yeah, I don't think it's as worthy of rewatching the whole way through as much as the other three movies are. But it's still not half bad though. It's not a bad watch at all. It's a good film. It's enjoyable. It's got a lot of good stuff in it. It has great animation. I like how it has an interesting plot, has good story. It's good. It's a good enough film. But for Shrek standards, it probably sucks. But again, it ain't half bad though. It's, in my opinion, it's an okay movie with some really good moments in it, and has some nice ideas. But overall, worthy of rewatching the whole way through again? I don't think so. But there's definitely some parts of the film that I think are there's definitely some great parts of the film that I think are worthy of coming back to. And I just explained what at least a couple of those scenes were in this video. And yeah, a good movie. But yeah, again, not worthy of rewatching the whole way through. And I know the Return of the Foss is not going to agree with that opinion because he hates the fourth movie and thinks it's the worst Shrek movie. But I'm sure he'll respect my current opinion on Shrek 4 now. Look at how we're close YouTube friends, and plus Shrek Forever After isn't the only thing that I like that the Fossa hates. Dragon Ball, Cartoon Network, but yeah, again, guys, it's an okay movie. It was alright. It had some really good parts of it. I mean, yeah, it could have been paced better, I would say, but it did feel pretty long. It did feel longer than any of the other three Shrek movies. But yeah, I don't think it's as nearly as worthy. I don't think it's as good as the other three Shrek movies. Yeah, if I were to update that Shrek and Puss in Boots movie tier list I did a little bit ago, I think that I would put Shrek. You guys remember how I put Shrek 4 on the mixed thoughts tier? That that own little tier that I came up with. Well, I think looking back, I would put Shrek Forever After. I think I would put it at B tier. I don't think I'd put it any higher than like B plus tier. It was a good film. It was enjoyable. It was a good film. It was enjoyable. Had some really good parts of it. But yeah, I don't think it's as nearly as worthy of rewatching the whole way through. And I still consider it my least favorite Shrek movie. Not that any Shrek movie is bad. No, every Shrek movie is good in some way. And I think 3 out of the 4 movies are great. Fourth one, okay. Here's a quick run through of my thoughts on the Shrek movies. Shrek 1, great, awesome, classic masterpiece. Great, awesome film. Never gets old. Awesome, great, awesome classic. So enjoyable, all that stuff. Shrek 2, same thing, but even better. Same thing as Shrek 1, but even better. Even more of a masterpiece, in my opinion. Shrek the Third, not as good as the first 2 Shrek movies, but still highly underrated. It's still a really good film, in my opinion, and it's a heck of a lot better than people say it is. Shrek Forever After, like I said, okay film. Maybe bad for Shrek standards, but it had some really good moments in it. And, it's not too disappointing. It's an enjoyable enough watch. It's fine. Yeah, an okay animated kids movie. But if you were to ask me what I consider to be better Shrek movies, I'd say all of the first 3 movies. Yes, even the third one. Yes, I know a lot of people think the third one's the worst, but for me, I think it's the third best, and I think it's a highly underrated classic. Definitely better than the fourth one. But again, the fourth one isn't bad. It's a good film. It's okay. It's good. It's a good film with some really good moments in it. Interesting plot, interesting storytelling, and I got a good chunk of laughs out of it. But yeah, I don't think it's too worthy of watching the whole way through. But still, it's not bad. It's still not a half bad film though. It's still a good enough watch. It's still enjoyable. But again, for Shrek standards, it's bad. I think I would consider it bad for Shrek standard. Yeah, I think I would consider it bad for Shrek standards, but I think I probably would consider it better than the other animated movie sequels that I called unnecessary, and that I considered didn't need to happen. Um, like Toy Story 4 and Finding Dory, those two Pixar movie sequels. Yeah, yeah, I would consider it better than those movies, but that's not a very high bar to hurdle at the end of the day, even though I don't think either of those movies are bad. Again, I don't think they're bad. I think they're both fine movies, but they didn't need to exist, and they can't compete with Toy Stories 1, 2, and 3, and Finding Nemo, in my opinion. So yeah, guys, that's about it. That's my opinion on the film. It was a good rewatch. It was nice to go back and rewatch it. In my opinion, it's okay. It's an okay movie with some really good moments in it, really nice storytelling, and yeah, there's some really good things about the film, but not enough to make it a great movie. I give it a B, like maybe like a B plus, like a 7 out of 10. And yeah, good film, but I still don't think it's too worthy of watching the whole way through. And no, guys, I still will not be doing Vegeta Forever After. I still don't think Vegeta Forever After will be worthy of making. I don't think, yeah, that's not gonna happen. Like how the Return of the Fosses Woody Forever After isn't gonna happen. It's kind of like that. But still, guys, I still made a poster for Vegeta Forever After, and plus there's that one Vegeta Shrek 3.0 cast video that includes some that I did recently that includes some casting choices for Shrek 4. So there's that. So yeah, it's not like I'm completely ignoring. It's not like I'm completely sleeping on Shrek Forever After with my spoofs. But still, I still don't want to do Vegeta Forever After. It sounds more like it would be a chore to do rather than an actual hobby. So, yeah, guys, that's about it. What are your thoughts on Shrek Forever After? You can tell me in the comment section down below. Again, I think it's an okay movie with some really good moments in it. It's not bad, although I used to think it was bad. But no, it's not a bad film. Yeah, maybe it's bad for Shrek standards, but at the end of the day, the film itself is fine. It's a good film, and yeah, that's about it for my opinion on it. It's a good film, not too worthy of watching the whole way through. It has some really good parts of it, but not enough to make it a great film. It's an okay film, in my opinion, while the other three movies, yes, even the third one, are all great movies. Especially the first two movies in the franchise. And yeah, and I hope it will be the end of the Shrek franchise. I really do hope that Shrek 4 will be the end of the Shrek movies. But it might not be, because like I said previously, like I said before on my channel, I've heard from ValeSkibum94 that Mike Myers wants a new Shrek movie every year. And yeah, that's a possibility. Yeah, and in that video he made where he talks about Mike Myers wanting a new Shrek movie every year, wanting there to be Shrek movies every year. He even played a clip that proves his point about Myers talking about how he'd be thrilled if he could voice Shrek again and all that. So yeah, there's a chance they might milk Shrek out, and like, no offense to Myers, like I understand where he's coming from. I understand why he'd want to voice Shrek again. Because, again, Shrek is his most popular character. And I can say how he would have a lot of fun voicing the character, giving him his Scottish voice and all that stuff. But I wouldn't want them to drag Shrek out like that. I wouldn't want them to drag Shrek out like that. But yeah, I'm kind of conflicted about that. Like, I wouldn't want them to drag, like I understand where Myers is coming from. I understand why he'd want to voice Shrek again. I don't blame him for wanting to voice Shrek again. But at the same time, like, I wouldn't want them to drag Shrek out. I won't want them to drag Shrek out so there could be new Shrek movies every year like Myers wants it to be. And but I wouldn't want Shrek to I wouldn't want Myers to get too upset over Shrek not coming back and him not being able to voice Shrek again. And I'm conflicted. I'm pretty conflicted about that. Yeah, and you guys can tell me in the comment section down below how you guys feel about that. Yeah, and it's pretty conflicted. So I hope I hope that they'll be able to work stuff out with Myers where they don't drag Shrek out that far, but Myers doesn't get too ticked off about either maybe he could voice Shrek for some YouTube Shrek parody, or maybe he could voice some new character that's like Shrek or something. I wouldn't want them to drag Shrek out even further, because if the fourth movie was just okay from a franchise that usually gets at least A-tier movies, in my opinion, I think if they drag Shrek out, their chances are it'll get worse and worse. It'll get worse and worse. Like, the franchise would possibly end up being a lot worse than the fourth movie, and it would end up being bad. So yeah, hopefully they'll be able to work stuff out that won't involve them dragging Shrek out any farther, and that won't involve Myers getting too upset. So yeah, hopefully they'll be able to work stuff out. So yeah, guys, that's about it. That's my thoughts on Shrek 4. A good ending to the series. Not the best way to end the Shrek movies, but it was a good way to end the Shrek movies. And let's hope, and yeah, hopefully that's where they'll end the Shrek movies. But chances are They're not gonna end it from there. But yeah, guys, like I said, how do you guys feel about like Shrek Forever After and Myers wanting a new Shrek movie every year and all that stuff? You guys can tell me in the comment section down below if you want. Yeah, that's my video. I thought it would be a good idea to make this video because you know you guys deserve to know my opinion changing on Shrek Forever After about me rewatching it. Because you know I have talked about it before on the channel. I have talked about Shrek Forever After before on my channel. I've shared my opinion on it, talking about how I've had mixed thoughts on the film and all that stuff, and how how about me rewatching it. Yeah, and tonight I had just rewatched it, and yeah, that's my opinion on it. And yeah, that's all for this video, you guys. Bye everyone, and thank you all for watching this video.